So welcome to today's Greater Life podcast. And today I come to you, as I often do, live from the coast paths of Cornwall's coast. And today I am looking out. I'm in a spot between Cudden Point and Prussia Cove. And I can look across to Pra Sands, which is quite a popular stretch of beach. And here on Easter bank holiday weekend, when I'm recording this for you, actually looking across, Pra Sands doesn't look too busy right now, which is surprising. But I'm here today on the topic of happiness. And my question to you today is, what are your OTIs and your OTAs that, when you make them, could radically transform the quality of your life, the happiness you experience, and indeed, the relationships you enjoy, the health you possess, and the business that you build? And of course, your question may be, well, George, what on earth are OTIs and OTAs? So let me explain by way of this Greater Life CoffeeCast. And I hope you're enjoying these CoffeeCast episodes. The idea being, particularly as we launch at the end of April the Greater Life Coffee Club, which is going to be our very low cost, very high value membership community, that you have a flow for your day where at various points offerings from the Greater Life community can come in and enrich your day. And of course, the idea being with the coffee casts is that each day, as you prepare your morning coffee, there is little shots of inspiration from us here at Greater Life, most usually from me, because I love making these, and hopefully you find them of value, of use. So OTIs and OTAs stand for one-time investments and one-time actions. And it's a principle that I may have shared elsewhere with you, but I'm going to dig into it a bit more here. And the idea is that what are the things that actually, if you invested in the right thing, the right tool, the right piece of software, the right item, it would have a radical impact on everything that you're then capable of doing going forward. And similarly with one-time actions, OTAs, okay? What are those actions that if you take, then can change things going forward? And so an example here, as I sit on the coast path, I look down at my feet and I see my Vivo barefoot tracker snow boots. And so for many years now, I have worn barefoot type running shoes as my daily footwear. And I really, find it impossible to pretty much wear anything else for any length of time. My feet are so used now to flexing and moving in the right way. And so with walking on the coast path, particularly becoming a dog person in the last couple of years, and therefore walking on the coast path becoming a great joy and a great love and something I do frequently, obviously then investing in the right footwear for the coast path walks became a fairly key imperative. And yet, these tracker snow boots were not cheap. I think they were about 150 quid or so. And so the question is, well, that's, for some people that's a lot of money to spend on a pair of shoes. And yet, because they give me that barefoot comfort and flexibility of sole, and yet they also are really outstanding waterproof walking boots, they have utterly transformed my experience of walking out on the coast path. And indeed, in general, I wear them a lot, even when I'm not on the coast path. So these, and yes, you could argue they're not a one-time investment, but I plan to have them for a good number of years. The one-time investment, even though I was like, oh, am I going to get value for money? The answer now has been just the most unequivocal, resounding yes. These have been one of my, I would say top 10 purchases of all time. And again, the quality of my experience, the joy that I'm able to experience as a result of having these on my feet They are light. I literally just sprinted up the hill now before I started making this podcast. So I can run in them like trainers, yet they give me the support of walking boots. I can spring across boulders almost as though I was in bare feet, and yet I've got grip and cushioning. On so many levels, these enable me to do one of the things that I love most, which is to kind of play and romp and, spring about on the coast path and the beautiful granite boulders and cliffs that spring forth, all across the Cornish coast. So that's an example of a one-time investment. What is in your life then, across health, happiness, home and hustle? What are some perhaps purchases, investments you've been considering making? And one of the things that we are developing within Greater Life at the moment, alongside our coffee club membership that we will be launching, is an offering around supporting entrepreneurs like you to start up or step out, which is giving you the digital presence for a very low cost but very high value, the digital presence that will actually allow you to cut through all of the noise and to connect with your ideal customers, and generate the traction within your marketing that perhaps has eluded you so far. So that could be an example of a one-time investment you might make into your business that, by the way, whether it's with us at Greater Life or any of the other people out there doing, web-based, services, the right investment in the right profile building and digital presence, will have a profound impact on the customers that you serve, how well you serve them, how many you serve, the sales that you make. So what are for you some of those one-time investments that could radically alter everything going forward from that point on? And then one-time actions, OTAs, is what are the things that once done change everything else going forward? And you could also argue that a one-time investment is a one-time action of sorts, for sure. I get that. But let me give you a different example. So for me, and I shared in one of the podcasts about the pillar of home, one of the things I struggled with because I didn't love, I hadn't worked out how to love myself in some ways. I struggled with keeping things clean and tidy. My external world was a reflection of my internal world. And recently, in doing the necessary work to come to a greater place of self-love, I now have far less tolerance for, a lack of cleanliness. And my fridge was a shocker. So was my van. Okay? So these two things that I use literally every day, just were not at an acceptable level of cleanliness to date. And so the one-time action was the hour or so it took to really deeply clean my fridge, and the 2 or 3 hours it took to really deeply clean my van, are one-time actions that change everything going forward. Because I will never again need to invest that level of time, effort and energy to keep my van or my fridge clean. Because there's a baseline of cleanliness now, and all I need to do is keep it topped up. Okay? So, similarly, where might that idea play out for you? And particularly in the realm of hustle, that might look like actually the action of, for example, writing a book. From that point on, you are always then an author. And you get to, build your business on the basis of being an author as well as everything else that you do. Okay? So the one-time action of writing a book has a profound long-term consequence on everything else you do. Alright? And particularly then, today, given our question is around the pillar of happiness, what are some one-time actions that you could take that might dramatically alter the quality of your happiness going forward? And a great example here might be, if you have some resources, what are some ways in which you might be able to invest in creating lifelong memories with your children and grandchildren, if you have them? Because once those memories are created, everything else from that point on is enriched by the fact that those memories exist. So, a one-time action like going on a holiday or going for a very special meal or something. You know, these are actions that, in a small way, but in a meaningful and significant way, could change everything else going forward. All right? So, what are the one-time investments and the one-time actions that, when you make them, could change everything? All right. This was today's Happiness CoffeeCast, and I'll see you tomorrow for another CoffeeCast on the pillar of home. Here's to a greater day, a greater week, and a greater life.